Hey. This is Coach Wheeler, and today I want to talk about. I did a video on finding your purpose and passion, and this one's similar to that, but slightly different. And it's basically using a bit of brain science. I'm not a neurologist, but I have studied a lot of the psychology and different things. And we have the prefrontal cortex and our frontal lobe part of our brains where we get a lot of our impulse, our character, our personality, our intuition, and different things like that. And it's also our creative side. And in that, once you have an idea, it can stay inside your brain. So I'll give you an idea. Years ago, I wanted to play the piano. And once you tell your brain that, it remembers that. And then it becomes this thing that it stores away. And it might not be this big life's purpose and passion and your goal in life and the things you want to achieve. But it can be one of those little things that we sidestep that we think are not important. But they can be. And sometimes I've coached people that come to me with they're feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit unsettled, or they're like, well, I have a really great life, but I'm not sure if this is as good as it gets. Is there something that's missing? And sometimes when we dig through and we brainstorm, we find there was something that you think is nothing, but it actually is something, if that makes sense. We sidestep, well, yeah, when I was younger, I wanted to learn the piano, but that's nothing. That's not going to change my life. I actually learned to do this and to do that, which I loved more. But then you kind of think, well, I never did that thing, so how do I know it wouldn't have brought me this sense of peace that I never knew I could have? And there was an interesting film a little while ago, it was an animation called Soul, and it was talking about purpose and passion and all that kind of thing. And it was more about the journey to get there instead of doing that thing. But I wanted to take it one further, and the reason I'm doing this video is because when you tell your brain that thing, it will never forget that. And there's a part of your brain that will store that, and then it becomes something that your brain thinks is important because you once wanted to do it. And if you sidestep it or dismiss it or put it down as something as nothing, it can still niggle away at you. And it won't be something, like I said, that's a life-changing, altering thing, but it might be. And a lot of the time, in one of the psychologies that I studied, and a conversation that I had with a friend of mine where we got quite deep into this, and it was a little bit of a heated debate, but not a bad one. It was really good. And we got to the end, and he said, well, it can't be that simple. And the psychologist in me and the life coach in me said, but imagine if it is. Imagine if it is that simple. And that's a technique that a scenario that comes up a lot when people say it can't be that simple. And the problem is with human beings that our grandiosity, our ego and our pride, we want it to be some amazing scientific, mathematical third law of thermodynamics type equation to our problem, because our ego wants it to be something so big that, well, we couldn't have possibly sidestepped it because it was so simple. I need it to be really important, because our ego won't let us believe that it is something that simple. But when we drop that and we face the truth, sometimes it is that simple. Just go and do it. And it's a great one. And sometimes I'll say to people, well, if this is just words, if it's just an idea, why not try it? You've got nothing else to lose, so give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. You try and learn the piano and you don't like it. Then at least you put it to bed. But sometimes ignoring that can have a little niggle that leaves us unsettled. And like I said in other videos, if you leave that little seed and plant it, it can grow into this big scary monster that can stress you out. So it's quite a niche tip and quite a niche thing to think about. But like I said, the prefrontal cortex part of your brain, it can receive that, store it, and it can just sit there and kind of bother you. It's not going to destroy you, and you're not going to end up being a neurotic and crazy. It can niggle away. So it's really important. And I find that sometimes you need to remind yourself. So maybe go for a walk when you're on holiday, sitting by the beach, have a beer, have a drink, and sit there. And instead of wondering about your team and how they're doing in the league, or, the latest designs by Gucci and Prada, think about something that you really wanted to do that maybe you sidestepped, that you think, what, I'm going to try that. I really wanted to own a flower shop. Maybe that's something you should do. And it might bring you a sense of pride and achievement and balance that you never expected. And you thought, what, having a flower shop actually is the thing I always wanted. Why did I forget that? Why did I bypass that? Yes, my life, what I thought would be better, because I have all these bigger, massive, crazier, brilliant lives that we all can have. And you sidestep that little thing that you think wasn't a problem, but it really could be. So I hope that sort of unusual little tip helps. Look forward to more stuff from Coach Wheeler. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.